Hey, Mike with D2D Millionaire here. And are you sick of potential customers telling you they want to think about it and never really make a decision? Well, today's video, I want to go through a couple different tips you can use to help people make a buying decision right away. So one thing to really understand is that a lot of the time when prospects and potential customers say they want to think about it or have some type of objection or concern, a lot of times those aren't really true. Now, not to say that sometimes the objections that your potential customers have are never valid. That's not really the case, but a lot of times this happens, or they say they need to think about it, for example, because it's their polite way of saying no. A lot of people that aren't really interested in what you have, they feel bad and they just are too nice to say no to you. And so they might say something like, oh, well, I just can't afford it, or I need to think about it, or I need to do my research, or I want to talk to my spouse, right? And so not to say that those people can't get started and buy your products, and sometimes you can handle those objections, but more so, a lot of times you just need to determine who's really interested and who's not, because a lot of times what sales reps will do is they'll spend way too much time with tire kickers and people that want to think about it, and they rearrange their whole schedule and set up follow-up times when someone that really isn't even interested. And again, you set yourself up for failure, because if you just determined right off the bat that these people didn't qualify or they weren't interested, you could better spend your time talking to people that were interested and were far more likely to buy and get started with you. So one thing that you want to do is set up a timeline for a decision. So again, a lot of times potential customers and prospects, what they want to do is they want to buy on their time, right? Say, oh, well, I'll get started next week, or I want to think about it and I'll let you know in a couple days. So when you establish a timeline, it does a couple things. One, it helps people to make a decision on the spot. So let's say, for example, you were trying to fill a couple open spots on your technician's route for your business. So an example might be setting a timeline of, hey, that's great if you want to think about it. I can totally appreciate that. But again, like I said, the discount, the special offer we're having is actually for today only, because we're trying to fill those spots. So again, if you want to take advantage of it and lock in one of those spots, great, we can get you that discount. Or, you're welcome to get started later, but you'll probably end up paying full price. So again, when you do this option, it creates that timeline. It helps people make a decision, because again, if someone said they wanted to think about it or talk it over or whatever their concern might be, and you were like, great, that's awesome if that's the case, but again, just letting you know, that discount and that special offer we're talking about is for today only. So is that something you want to make a decision on and get started today, or did you want to come back later and pay full price? So it can help get people off the fence. When you use that fear of loss, you eliminate that option to think about it, because again, if they want that special offer and discount, they need to get started now. That's one thing to keep in mind. Another thing you want to think about is that it's okay to be direct with your potential customers and your prospects. A lot of times sales reps, they feel like they kind of have to tiptoe around with their potential customers, that they have to be overly nice and bend over backwards, and then that's going to somehow make someone make the decision to get started. Obviously, you don't want to be rude and pushy and overly aggressive when you're talking with people, but it's okay to be direct when you're talking to people. So for example, if someone said that they wanted to think about it, it's totally okay to say something along the lines of, hey, that's great and I can appreciate that, but what exactly is it that you want to think about? So again, you're kind of calling them out and being like, hey, is that something that's real? Or is that just your polite way of saying no? So that could be another example of what you say. Or you could say something like, hey, that's great, I can totally appreciate that, and I understand that, you maybe want some time to think about it, but, I'm just curious, what's the determining factor for you getting started today? What exactly is it that you need to think about? So again, you can, in this approach, flesh out maybe some concerns or some objections that you could handle, but at the same time, if the person says like, oh, well, geez, I don't know, I'm just not the kind of person that decides something on the spot, or I want to think about it, right? These probably aren't the right people that you should be, talking to and spending your time with. So again, these people most likely are just tire kickers. They're not really interested, and they're just too polite to say no to you, to your face. They feel like you'll be defeated or feel bad, right? Or whatever the case might be. So it's okay to be direct with these people because, again, a quick no is way better than a drawn out maybe. And when you get that decision, whether it's a yes or no, you can at least spend more time with people that truly are interested and that could buy and get started with you today. So again, hopefully you got some benefit out of these tips on how to help people make a decision and get more people to buy right now while you're marketing door to door. If you did, feel free to comment and share. And if you are in door-to-door sales, be sure to head on over to d2dmillionaire.com and enter your information for access to our free podcast training on how to avoid the 5 most common reasons why sales reps fail in door-to-door sales. So if you're struggling, not making the income you want to make, or again, maybe you just want this year to be your best year yet selling, be sure to head on over to d2dmillionaire.com, enter your information again for access to that podcast training. But thanks again so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you more soon.